When you hear the word contract, your mind probably jumps to these super long, intimidating documents, right? All that legal jargon. But what if I told you the whole idea is actually so simple, you're doing it every single day and you don't even realize it? Let's break that down. So let's just ask the big question right up front. What is a contract? It seems like it should have an easy answer, you know? It's such a huge part of our world, but pinning it down is, well, it's a little trickier than you might think. But here's the really cool part. This whole massive, powerful legal concept, it can be boiled down to just one short, elegant sentence. That's it, just 7 words. And there it is, an agreement which the law will enforce. That's the whole shebang. So for the rest of this explainer, we're going to take a really close look at these 7 words, because the power they hold is pretty profound. All right, let's dive in. First up, Part 1, the agreement. This is where it all starts. This is the human foundation. Let's just zoom in on those first 2 words, an agreement. This is the seed, the starting point of everything. Before any lawyers or courts ever get involved, this is what has to happen between people. At its very core, an agreement is really just a meeting of the minds. It's that moment where you and I, or any 2 people, get on the same page. We have a shared understanding. Hey, I'll do this if you'll do that. We both get it, we both mean for it to happen. It's totally fundamentally human. But of course, not all agreements are the same. There's a huge difference between a casual promise like, yeah, I'll call you next week, and a real formal agreement. See, a formal agreement has this clear intention to be bound. It means both people are seriously saying, yes, we are creating actual duties for each other that we have to follow through on. Okay, so we've got our meeting of the minds. We have this shared intention. But is that really enough? I mean, what happens if somebody just changes their mind? What gives that simple agreement its actual power? Well, that question leads us straight to part 2, the enforcement. This is where the real power of the law kicks in. And here we have the second half of our definition. This is what gives an agreement its teeth. These 5 little words, which the law will enforce, are what turn a simple promise into an incredibly powerful tool. It's basically the entire legal system saying, yep, we've got your back on this one. So think of it like this. Step 1, you and someone else form a human agreement. Step 2, the law steps in. It provides a whole structure and, most importantly, consequences if that agreement gets broken. And that brings us to step 3. Boom. The agreement is now enforceable. It has real weight. A really great way to think about this is that the law is basically a referee. It's not writing the playbook for your specific deal. You and the other person do that. The law just makes sure that once the game is on, everybody plays by the rules that they both agreed to in the first place. Okay, so now let's bring these 2 halves together. This is where we see the true, incredible power of a contract. And here we are, right back to our full definition. But it doesn't feel like just 7 words anymore, does it? Now you can clearly see the 2 parts working together. The human part, that initial agreement, and the powerful structural part, that legal enforcement. So what do you get when you combine a mutual agreement with the rock-solid promise of legal enforcement? You get one thing: trust. And that simple, powerful formula, it's literally the engine that runs our entire economy. It's our ability to trust that promises will actually be kept. And look, this matters so much. It's the whole reason you can confidently buy something online, or sign an offer letter for a new job, or heck, even just buy a cup of coffee. Every single one of those things is a tiny contract. It's a promise backed up by a huge system of enforcement. And all of that creates the predictability we absolutely need for society to function. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Now that you're thinking about it this way, how many enforceable agreements have you made just in the last week? I bet the answer will really surprise you. And it just goes to show how central this simple 7-word definition is to every single one of our lives.